Hello YouTube, it's East Akron back again, and I do a lot of these things for myself apparently because I'm not an interesting enough YouTube poster. So anyway, would like to again solicit your response, whoever you are out there. As I've mentioned in my previous at least a couple of my previous posts anyway, I happen to work in the radio industry. Not a major star, because if I was, first of all, I'd be getting a lot more responses to all my posts, and you'd already know who I am anyway. But since I'm not, I actually kind of appreciate the anonymity. That's the thing I like about radio. I'm not a DJ though. I work in news. That's primarily what I've done. I've been working in the business for a number of years. Not a long time by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been around for a while. Been to a few stations. Worked as a DJ briefly, but found I was not Howard Stern, so I went back to news. The question I ask is, what's wrong with radio? You saw the subject line, so you know probably where this is going. If not, I'll explain. There's been a lot of talk in the industry, really in the last decade, but probably even longer than that, but specifically in the last 10-12 years with deregulation, and you have large companies that own a whole lot of stations, and they cut staffing, and they don't pay you anything. And I'm not saying that's a situation I'm in. Actually, I'm actually doing better now than I was just a couple of years ago in my current position, but that's neither here nor there. When I ask what's wrong with radio, I ask, what is it that's driving people away? Is it the corporations that own dozens, or in the cases of a couple of them at least hundreds or even thousands of stations? And I'm talking primarily in North America, just to give you the context here, specifically in the United States. I don't have a real good fix on how media ownership laws work in a lot of other countries. I know sometimes they're state media operations, that sort of thing, so this really doesn't apply necessarily. But in any case, getting away from the ownership thing, I saw a figure here some time ago, and it's been thrown around a lot by people that are in the business. They already know that. But something that listeners may not be aware of is that there have been surveys that have been posted out there in the last few years that radio listenership, that is, the people that listen to radio on a regular basis, has been on a steady decline, really for about the last 10-11 years. Now, one could make the argument that, one, it's boring programming. I hate commercials. There's that annoying DJ who thinks he's so entertaining and he's really not. There are other people who say, well, it's the corporate media types. They dumb down the programming, or they make it so boring, or they're only interested in the ads. They don't give the personalities any opportunity to, well, be a personality. And then there are the other people that say that it's the programming people in the business that they've been a contributing factor, that they've made it boring. Or then there are the other things that don't have anything directly inside the business. They're not factors from within, they're from outside. There's new media. You have webcasting now, you have internet radio stations out there. Of course, a lot of them don't have advertising. Most of them don't, or so it would seem. I'm definitely not an expert because I've been slow to get on the internet bandwagon in that area. But anyway, that's been my experience. Then you have, of course, your MP3 players, you have iPods, whatever particular brand name you want to check here. There you have it. So you have a fragmented audience, and then of course formats. You have, as opposed to 30 or 40 years ago, where one station had a top 40 station and a country station and the middle of the road station that played Glenn Miller records and Frank Sinatra records for your mom and dad. Now you have those, and then you have the alternative rock station. Then you have the classic country music station. You have the news talk station, the sports talk station. You have the station that plays gospel music all day. And those are just some general things. So you don't necessarily find those exact examples in every market at one given time, but you get the idea. So what we have going on is narrowcasting. So essentially, if you look at the radio audience as a pie, then instead of 2 or 3 stations competing for pie, you've got, say, 6 or 7, or 10, or 12, or 25, depending on if it's a big enough town, all competing for the same number of people, relatively speaking. So, that all having been said, if you even listen to the radio anymore, and if studies are any indication, there's a lot of you that aren't, because some of you, including myself, are all on here, and so we don't bother with the radio. We listen to CDs, our MP3 player, or maybe we've become a hermit and we've given up on music entirely. That's not me. Some people, though. Anyway, so what's wrong with radio? Is it you don't like the music the station plays? Too many ads? Boring personalities? Annoying personalities? What is it? So, I pose the question to you. If you're still a holdout for radio, you still give it a time of day at least once in a while, such as myself, what's wrong with it? What can we do better? And that's pretty much what I'm putting out there. If you have some constructive criticism or just criticism in general of the radio industry, I'd like to hear it. I can't promise I can do anything with it. I'm not in any position of authority. I'm not even a mid-level management person. I'm just who I am. But I would just like to hear from people out there that don't work in the business. What do you, as a listener, think of radio? Is it a media? Is it a form of media? Is it a medium, I should say, that's past its prime? Should we just put it to bed and forget about it and move on to television or the internet or whatever? I'd like to hear from you. So shoot me a quick response. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you on the flip-flop. Bye.